Silhouette, not a big word. The only one that could maybe be acceptable to not know is go, because we like borrowed it from French. But like still, even then, have you never read anything? Don't we read? Have we not read?
An elementary school teacher posted a TikTok saying that the education system in this country has gotten so bad that her students are struggling to read and write. And look, I totally understand that the education system in this country is not perfect, but I guess my takeaway is like, sure, maybe her students are struggling to read and write because the education system in this country overall has just like fallen off a cliff, but maybe, just maybe, her students are struggling to read and write because the person who's supposed to be teaching them how to read and write is too busy making TikToks about how uneducated they are.
Who is to blame for these high school students that cannot read this sentence? Who is to blame? Who is to blame? Unfortunately, there's just too many fucking factors. As we live in a time where our government is actively trying to defund our education, it's videos like this that I fucking hope stick in people's minds when it comes to educating their kids. Everyone loves hating on teachers in this literacy conversation, but parents are underhated in my opinion. Like, teachers can genuinely only do so much. A parent's job is to teach them phonetics and how to read at a young age. And honestly, parents are failing. They really are. Yes, it is tough to parent nowadays. Maybe you shouldn't have had kids if it's that hard. But anyways, the system is genuinely crumbling in front of our eyes. Like, the children are not the future anymore. You can clearly see it from that video. Obviously, I have to say the interviewer might have like purposefully picked out some students who failed popcorn reading. But what disturbs me is that they can't even like try to begin to sound out the word. It's like they didn't learn phonetics as like a kindergartner. But that video is fucking scary. Genuinely, it should scare you. And if you're a parent, I hope it scares you even more than the regular person, because that is a responsibility of yours to make sure your kids don't end up like that. Obviously, the school system is broken, but how much can I really blame teachers when they're already working with the bare fucking minimum that the government and the state government gives them? Trump aims to fully dismantle the Department of Education, by the way, so...
I'm having a conversation with the administrator at the school district. It's dark, it's wintertime, I'm on my drive home from downtown, I'm stuck in traffic, and she goes, we are not going to send the data to the parents because that information would be overwhelming to the average parent. And I paused and I said, that might be the most condescending thing I have ever heard a school administrator say about a parent. Are you telling me that a parent doesn't understand the words high risk, some risk, or low risk? Because that's all I'm asking you to send them. And she goes, yes. And I go, you're concerned because more than 50% of all kids are some risk and more than 40% are high risk. You're not concerned about the parents. You're concerned about the reaction of the parents when they find out their kids aren't learning to read.
So, and this goes back to, the non-disclosure of the criers.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing that the school is now shielding us from actually knowing what's going on with our kids. And that seems like something, I mean, I know we can get into rabbit holes down here, but it seems to be pervasive in our society, not just with reading, there's a lot of other issues that seem to be happening in the school districts because of that.
There may not be a bigger ick for me than people who are educated or highly educated, and yet they're still functionally illiterate. I'm talking about people who now have, I just graduated, people who now have their diploma, who don't know the difference between there, and you can see it when they text. And the best part is people are kind of proud of this now. They're like, oh yeah, I couldn't spell that if I wanted to. Yeah, bro, it's a 3-syllable word. You should be able to spell it. Obviously, huge disclaimer. I'm not talking about everybody. There are some people who just never learned how to spell, and I'm sympathetic for that. But the people who graduated from a 4-year university with a diploma, who are going to masters, or they have a job, or maybe they don't have a job, and are wondering why, maybe it's because you don't know between its and its where the thing goes, what the difference is. I'm going to get flamed now because I just called an apostrophe an it, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, it really irks me. There's so many people. You should not be proud of this. Nobody should be proud of this. Normally I talk about dating, psychology, college, relationships, finances, but I was triggered today. Something set me off, and here I am yapping about this on the internet. Follow for more. Hi.
So apparently the kids can't read. I stumbled onto the part of TikTok in which both teachers and students are complaining about how the literacy rate is dropping quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and say the thing that pisses off everyone whenever I say it, but it's also something I've been saying since high school. And that thing is, at least in the 90s, our entire education, we heard teachers complaining either in person or on the news about how poorly they were paid. We watched the union strikes. I feel like I knew a teacher that was living out of their car, which in the 90s was horrific. We were under no disillusionment whatsoever that being a teacher means you're going to be poor. And on top of that, we also saw that being a teacher took 6 years of education, which at the time was parallel to that of a doctor or a scientist. Because I was always a smart ass, when I was in high school, I made the observation that all of our teachers basically went to school for 12 years and then paid to go to school for another 4 to 6 years, depending on how old the teacher was, just to come back to live the rest of their lives in school. So by the time high school graduation came around, I remember looking at the peers around me, the ones specifically who were going to go be teachers. And I remember thinking, what kind of idiot listens to the teachers complaining for the last 18 years about how they don't make any money and then choose to do that much education and go into that much debt in order to never leave school? And I mean, if I were to go down the list of names that I know did become teachers, they are actually idiots. And now that I mention it, as I'm scrolling on these TikToks and listening to these teachers complain about how their students can't read, a lot of these teachers sound barely literate. They can barely form a sentence properly. And while I know what I just said is very hurtful to anyone who is currently a teacher or knows a teacher, because you're going to have feelings wrapped up around it, but there's a reality to what I just said. And part of that reality is that teachers should definitely be paid more than they are. And I'm not saying that on the benefit of the people who are my age that are teachers, but I am definitely saying that if you want to attract intelligent people into academia, you need to at least first make it pay the bills. And I mean, if we decentralize the education department, we could probably get rid of the unions, which stifle a lot of progress, in addition, potentially dropping the number of years that a teacher needs to be in school in order to become a teacher, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but unless you're actually smart, you're not going to get what I'm saying there. And what I'm saying is that having that much education requirement is only going to attract idiots. It doesn't take a smart person to go to college. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to teach a child how to read. It doesn't take 6 years of student debt to teach fourth graders how to do math. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I worked for a private company that did medical research, and so did the university, so we worked together sometimes. And I don't know any better way to describe it than as academia being in itself a massive social bubble. The way the professors worked was in such a slow and almost time doesn't exist kind of a way compared to those in the private sector. It was a completely different culture, a completely different set of standards. They did not, you know what it is they acted like they were part of a union and didn't have to worry about their job. And that's exactly what was happening there. And I mean, frankly, that's an extension of what I observed when I was in high school. These people exit high school, go on to college, and then return back to school. They never actually leave the school setting. There's a whole mentality and type of sociology that goes along with that process. The rest of us left and entered into the real world, and we got into careers and operated within the free market. And no, I'm not saying that academia isn't a real job. I'm just saying that you are definitely isolated in a social bubble and don't know how the rest of the world is, yet you're teaching these children how to go out into the world and function. And I know I sound like I'm digressing there, but really what that is a lead up for me to say that I think we should even be considering a scenario in which people 55 plus or people who are on the fast track to retirement, they should have the ability to go and also be teachers. Granted, that would mean certain fields and for certain subjects related to what it is they did in real life. 20 years experience means you can teach math if you were in math. Like if you were a nurse for 20 years, you're probably qualified to teach health class, And when I'm saying that, that's a very rough construct because I always worry about people who like children too much getting too close to children. But we can't even guarantee that with the teachers we have now. In fact, of the ones that I went to school with, two of them that I went to school with that I thought were idiots ended up also being too interested in children. So if I really wanted to extrapolate and be a little bit crude with that data, I would say that I bet a lot of people who are my age, roughly in their 40s, were either too stupid to do the math about whether or not they get paid enough to do what they're doing, were too immature to grow up and exit the school system, or they just actually really wanted to be around children. And we set this up for ourselves by not paying teachers what they should have been paid back in the 90s. Anyway, I don't know. Let the hate begin because I know everyone hates when I say that.
I don't think y'all understand that I have high school students who do not know how to spell their own name. Students who are in high school who are misspelling their own name repeatedly. I had a student this year who struggled really badly with reading comprehension and spelling. And when I say really badly, as in like cannot spell 3-letter words, like it was that bad. And so sometimes she would forget to put her names on papers, which that's fine. I'll just write your name for you. And for some reason, I kept misspelling her name. And if you notice, I have 2 E's in my name. So I thought that I was adding 2 E's onto her name just like out of ego. Like, oh my God, why am I trying to put my 2 E's on her name? Her name does not have 2 E's, because when I would go check online, there was only 1 E. So now it is the end of the year and I was cleaning up my classroom a bit. And so as I was throwing away some papers, I picked up a paper that she wrote her name on. And I noticed that the name also had 2 E's on it. And I was like, well, hold on, because her name does not have 2 E's. I pick up a second paper, also has 2 E's on it. And I go back to my computer, type in her name, there is 1 E. And I had the horrifying realization that she's spelling her own name wrong. And not just once, multiple times, like continuously. And I was subconsciously spelling her name also wrong because I was seeing her spell it wrong on so many papers. It's not just as simple as people like to say, oh, just teach, you're the teacher, just teach, to give them the information. How can you teach someone who is 3 years away from being an adult how to spell their own name? How do you bring that conversation up with their parents? And why do their parents not know that their child can't spell their own name? Or do they know and they just don't care? I wouldn't know, because I've emailed them plenty of times and they've never reached back out to me. So trust me when I say I have earned my summer and I'm going to enjoy it fully.
Someone just got upset with me because I said high school graduations don't mean nothing anymore. I'm not excited about a high school graduation. I don't care. Until you can read a book to me out loud, that shit means nothing. And I'm going to stand on that. And you know why I say that? Because they pass these children along. Like I done told y'all, No Child Left Behind. Baby, they pass them and pass them and pass them. They don't hold them down. Them kids can't even read. They are graduating from high school and they cannot read. They are graduating from high school and they can't add 2 + 3. But y'all want a big ass celebration because what, they stayed in school for 12 years? No, I think not. Until I know you have actually learned something, until I know you can actually read, and I mean read out loud, until I know you can actually add some shit, I don't give a fuck if you graduated from high school. It means absolutely nothing to me. Because everybody can stay in school for 12 years. Have you learned something? Did you really learn something while you were in school? So you're going to have some other skills for me to get excited. Y'all go to these high school graduations and y'all out here throwing big ass parties and spending thousands of dollars on shit for some kids who can't even damn function in reality. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not celebrating you going to them people's building for 12 years because I could give no fucks. I'm being serious. No Child Left Behind. I told y'all, screwed this whole fucking country up. I don't care about a child's high school graduation. And that's any child. Unless I know for a fact they have actually learned something. They can actually read. They can actually do math. They actually know something. Don't come to me about no high school graduation because I don't give a fuck. I don't even have a congratulations to give you. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And if that makes you mad, you may be one of them who can't fucking read. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Y'all gonna have to prove to me. And if you can't prove it, good day. I don't have nothing for you. Goodbye. Good day.
Riddle me this. How is it in 2026 people are graduating with the inability to read? There should be no reason you graduate and you can't read. If you can't read the diploma you're getting, you don't get it. I don't understand. Like, how is that a thing? Like, aren't there state tests? And I'm saying this because I watched a video where a guy was talking about a Madison Preparatory School 95 graduation, the 95% graduation, which is great, but their reading skills, they only top at 35% of their students that graduated can read. But they get in cars and drive. How? They can't read their signs. You have to read. Anyway, it's 2026. This is parents' fault. Do better.
Kids are graduating from high school now math illiterate. There's statistics showing this. One thing I looked into is what countries have the highest math literacy and what are they doing differently than us. What I found is that they're really prioritizing number sense in the early years. You don't have to be some kind of math genius to do that with your own child at home. I found this Montessori math manipulative on TikTok Shop, and I'm going to show you real quick what you can do with it. First things first, super easy, number recognition. And you can work on 2-digit numbers that way. You can work on 3-digit numbers. You can even work on 4-digit numbers if you have an older kid. Another super easy number sense activity, have them put the 1-digit numbers in order, or have them put the tens in order. You could do it with the hundreds and the thousands as well, depending on your child's age and ability. You can also do number building. So ask your child to build 957, for example, and then ask your child to do an expanded form. This is a great activity for expanding number sense. Your child is going to say 957 is made up of 9 hundreds, 5 tens, 50, and 7. 900 plus 50 plus 7 equals 957. Absolutely zero prep on your part, and it's not expensive at all. Click the orange card and grab yours. This is a great activity to do with your kid over the summer, and just do it 5 or 10 minutes a day. It can make a big difference.
Why can't kids read anymore?
Not only can't they not read, they can't do math either. And it's the lowest it's been in many, many years, certainly since COVID, but even going back before COVID. Some say that this is the most distracted generation because of all of the technology that they have available. Some would just say it's just poor teaching. The education is just so bad, and we know that's the case, Alex, in the government schools, that the education is so bad. So I think that's a factor. I think it's been so dumbed down. It is a point of concern. If kids can't read, they really can't be free. I mean, if you can't read the great texts and read God's word and read the great documents, you're not really a free person. So this is a really important issue.